time of year to get outside and snowmobile. A lot of people looking for something fun to do outside during the pandemic. So here with the second part of a special two-part series, attorney Tom Sinas of Sinas Dramer's law firm talking about some of the basic laws of operating those snowmobiles. So Tom, first and foremost, let's talk about where specifically people need to operate those snowmobiles, or where they can, I guess.
Great question. Picking up where we left off last week, now we're out and heading about, and where can you operate? Well, let's start first with private land. You, of course, can operate your snowmobile on your own private land, but if it's someone else's private land, you have to have their consent in order to do so. Well, what about in the vicinity of our public roads? Well, our law allows for snowmobilers to ride in the right-of-way of a public highway in a single file line, meaning not more than two abreast, unless one snowmobile is passing the other. Now, of course, the right-of-way is different than the actual roadway itself. It extends beyond the roadway. What about the roadway? Well, snowmobilers can operate going across a roadway, provided that they yield to traffic and they're doing so at a right angle. Similar type rule if they're going over a bridge or a culvert. So those are the kind of, and then obviously if you're on a snowmobile trail designated for snowmobile traffic, you can operate there as well.
How about the safety rules about how people operate them as well? A little bit more to that?
Yeah, great question. All right, so the basic rule here is reasonableness. We don't actually have let's talk about speed limits. We don't actually have a speed limit number because, of course, the conditions and weather and terrain vary. But the law says that snowmobiles have to operate under a reasonable and prudent speed for the conditions. If someone doesn't operate under that reasonable standard, and if, heaven forbid, someone else is injured, then the operator of the snowmobile or the owner of the snowmobile can be liable. They can not only be liable in a civil claim, but if the snowmobile operator is operating negligently or carelessly and someone else is injured or killed, then not only is there civil liability, but there's also a potential criminal liability. And then, of course, alcohol and controlled substances and snowmobiles do not mix in terms of safety, and it's illegal under the law. And the penalties here are quite stiff. It's stiff not only for people who are operating with an illegal blood alcohol level, but people who are operating under any type of impairment that is visible. Neither of those are permitted. So in the end of the day, it's basic common sense, right? Exercising reasonable care, not driving carelessly, and of course, not mixing snowmobiles with alcohol or drugs.
Good reminders. Tom, where do people go to get more information on this topic?
They can find us online at www.sinusdramus.com. Shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com or give us a call, 616-301-3333.
As always, Tom, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Derek.